What you're watching is Grand Finals at EVO 2017, the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, and both players are using Aquaman. And that's because this character had everything. A meterless combo breaker, great range on his attacks, high damage combos, and if you fought him, you were guaranteed to lose at least 50% of your life bar just for blocking. To this day, I truly believe that Aquaman is the most solid character that NetherRealm has ever created. So without any further ado, let's discuss why. Honestly, one of the toughest things about making this video is figuring out where to start, because Aquaman just has so many amazing things going for him, but I think we'll start off with the range. So unlike most characters in this game, Aquaman was always fighting with his weapon. He always had the Trident in hand, and this gave him some really good range. From jumping distance, you were pretty much never safe from this character. He could always peg you, and then if you were further away, he had the back two, which was absolutely ridiculous, the range on this thing, and if it hits you, this move leads to a full combo. And this Trident also made his universal tools a bit better as well, so his sweep, pretty darn good for a sweep. It's not the best in the game, but it's fast and has some really decent range. And of course his forward 3 was also decent, and then his back 3 was kind of ridiculous. It's not the craziest range, however the vertical hitbox on this thing was ridiculous. If you were playing Aquaman and your opponent jumped at you for any reason, this move was going to catch them because it just hit that high up. Pretty much wherever you see the water on that Trident is where this move hit. So if you wanted to spin the bar to armor yourself, the opponent was guaranteed to get hit if they're in the air for any reason, because in this game you can't block while in the air. It's not Marvel. And also his jumping too was godlike, so you get the idea. The Trident gave Aquaman some really good footsies. He could whiff punish pretty much anything, and if you tried to jump at him, you were pretty much guaranteed to lose. So next up, let's talk about the pokes, because these also made Aquaman ridiculous. So for starters, we have his forward 1, Surface Dwellers. So look at the range on this thing, and it's a mid, and it starts up in 7 frames. So already that's super strong. But here's the craziest part. On hit, this move is plus 20. So if you and the opponent are playing footsies and you land this move, you can guarantee several follow-ups depending on the distance. If you're up close, then you can guarantee this string, his back 1-2, or from the depths. If you're a bit farther away, you actually guarantee his overhead, because you're at plus 20 and this move is 25. So as long as your timing's correct, the opponent can't interrupt this either. Or put simply, once Aquaman landed this move, it was guaranteed his turn. If you pressed any buttons, you were going to get counter hit. So a lot of Aquaman players would just do a down 1, because down 1s are always strong, and if that down 1 landed, they would do forward 1, and if that landed, they could do this. If they were further away, they had this. So many different options, all because you're constantly at a disadvantage with this guy. And this move was already safe on block, but if you wanted to take your turn back, they could just finish it and go for the overhead, which actually leads to combos in the corner, so it's meterless for extending combos. And then if they finish the whole thing, you're at full screen, and Aquaman has a bunch of different far-reaching attacks, so he can just zone you, or this move is also plus 8. So this move by itself is already super powerful, but if the opponent's cornered, you're at plus 8, which guarantees this follow-up, the back 1-2, or if the opponent's a bit more patient and respecting you, you can walk forward just a little bit and then do the forward 1, and it also reaches as well. So as you can see, Aquaman just has a bunch of really good strings. And now let's talk about from the depths. So as mentioned earlier, this move just has fantastic range. It's great from around jumping distance, and it's technically -7 on block, so the opponent could try to punish, but you can just finish the string. Because not only is the full string completely safe on block, but the last hit also combos, so you can just wait and then special cancel, and you're getting some decent damage. So on block, it's safe, and on hit, some pretty okay damage. However, what made this string really crazy is that on hit, it's plus 7, which means you can do a lot of things. You can just go for it again, if you want to, or you can go for Surface Dweller again, the forward 1, and now you're at plus 20 on hit. So if your opponent didn't take time to study frame data, they were constantly going to be minus and not understand why they were constantly getting hit by this guy. And then before Aquaman got nerfed, this final hit used to be plus on block. So plus that a down 1 was guaranteed, and in this game a down 1 can special cancel for a full combo. And then on top of that, a lot of players would actually instead go for the forward 1, because that's how plus you were, and if this landed, you were now plus 20 on hit, which just meant more pressure. This string starts all over again, and on block he's plus once again. So if you ever found yourself fighting a good Aquaman, you wanted to push block all the time, because this pressure was just ridiculous. And we actually already covered water damage, because that's the follow-up to Surface Dweller. So next up, let's talk about Origin. I think that's how you say that. So compared to the other strings, this move doesn't have too much going for it, but it's got some cool stuff. So for starters, It begins combos, and it's very damaging. Now it does have some risk because it's minus 20, but look at all this pushback. A lot of players did not know how to punish this, and some characters don't have any good ways to punish it, at least not for a full combo. And then we have Deep Sea, so this move hits low and has some pretty decent range. It's a bit further than his sweep. It's not nearly as far as his overhead, but it's much faster. So if you wanted to whiff punish, this move was fantastic for that. Now unfortunately it doesn't special cancel, but the damage by itself is still pretty good. And perhaps best of all, it also gave you the option to switch sides if you wanted to. So if you're Aquaman and you're cornered, you just finish with this move, and now they're cornered. Or if you have the corner advantage, do the exact same move, but just hold forward and now they stay in the corner. So if you're playing Aquaman, you could either put your opponent in the corner or choose to keep the corner. It was very strong for that. And due to its high damage, it was also great for ending a lot of combos as well. And that's already a ton of things that make this character great, but that's just the attack string. So next up we have the special moves, which are arguably even better for this character. So first up, the Trident Rush. This thing is just ridiculous. Look at all the chip. Look at all that block damage you just took. Now, it might not seem like a lot if you only play MK11, but look at the bottom screen, look how much meter you have in this game, 4 bars. So that means if I want to, I can just keep doing this and amplifying, and you're taking all of this block damage. Whenever you block me, I'm going to make it hurt every single time. You're gonna lose half your life just to chip damage. And the craziest part is this move used to do way more damage on block than it currently does. Just check out this tournament match and look how much health they're losing just for blocking. But that's not even the craziest part. So this move, when you spent the bar, despite all the amazing chip damage, it was also completely safe. So the few strings Aquaman had that were punishable, like this back 2, now it's no longer punishable, just 1 bar, and not only is it safe, but I guarantee all this damage on block. Or hey, how about this string? It's minus 7, but I'm just going to finish it, and then Trident Rush, and look at all this block damage you're taking. So not only are you safe on every mix-up you go for, but you're also dealing all this damage to the opponent for blocking. Now thankfully this game does have a push block, so it helps mitigate things a little bit, but you're still forcing the opponent to spend meter just because they correctly blocked your mix-up. So yeah, this move is already nuts, but before it got patched it was even more nuts, so much so that there were so many Aquaman mirror matches and you just saw this move back and forth over and over again, because why would you not use it? It's already safe on block, so you can do pretty much any mix-up you want to, and on top of that, the opponent's taking a bunch of block damage unless they want to waste their meter just to get you off of them. And next up, we have Trident Scoop. So this move is actually slightly weaker than it was in Injustice 1 because it would actually combo meterless. It does not do that anymore, but it's still a very strong move, and let me explain why. So you likely already noticed that it hits low, and the range is pretty darn good as well. Start of the round. Really good. And the startup is very quick too. Actually, it's even more than that. Look at the range on this thing. It is ridiculous, right? And it hits low. And that sucks for you as the opponent because Aquaman has strings that end in overheads. So right there, that's an overhead that's really good on hit for tons of pressure, or now it's a low and it starts combos. And the same is also true for this string. So normally it's a mid overhead, but nope, now it's a mid low. And if I want to spin the bar, it's a full combo. And despite Aquaman already being so good, his damage pretty much doesn't suffer at all. So check this out. We're still getting around 27%, and that's not optimal whatsoever. And this move could also extend combos too. It didn't have to be at the start, so combos like this, you're now getting 35% damage for just 1 bar. But oh man, now we have all the different keep away stuff. So Trident Toss. Just a pretty typical projectile. It hits high, so you could duck under it, but its main use was for ending combos because the damage is pretty high. Look at this thing by itself. 110 damage. Are you for real? That's 10% on most characters, so really good damage. Look at all that yellow life just from a single hit. However, that zoning tool was nothing compared to Tentacle Strike, which I know sounds like it belongs on a dirty website, but this move was just ridiculous. They nerfed it super hard, and it's still honestly not a terrible move, but it's not nearly as godlike as it used to be. So by default, this move is pretty much like Garrus in Mortal Kombat 11. This thing tracks your location, it's super brain dead, and it's very fast, and if you want to spin the bar, it does some pretty chunky damage. So look at that, 177. That's almost 20% on most characters. However, before Aquaman got patched, this move used to be his go-to combo starter because it would not slam them onto the ground, it would bounce them off the ground and launch them so high that a back 3 was guaranteed. So not only was this move great for countering keep away and just an awesome ranged attack in general, but it was also Aquaman's best way to hit confirm and extend combos for maximum damage. And you could even combo after this move from a distance as well. If the opponent was really far away, I think you had to go for the move a second time. However, if the opponent wasn't quite as far away, like around here, you would just spin the bar and then do Trident toss and get some really good damage for a simple whiff punish or just punishing keep away in general. Don't get me wrong, this move is still a godlike way to end combos for burst damage because just look at this, 25, really 250 just for that short string, it's really good for damage. However, at one point in time, it was the best way to counter keep away and it was the best way to extend combos. It was honestly one of the best moves in the entire game if you ask me. And then we have Water Shield. So despite all the different keep away options that Aquaman has, believe it or not, he can also just say no to any projectiles you have. And then he can just hold this down for a pretty long time. And this beats any projectile you go for whatsoever. Why don't we have a move like this in MK11, NetherRealm? Oh wait, Aaron Black. I guess Aaron Black has a pretty similar move. So this countered pretty much all projectiles, and then you also had this, which could also extend combos from far away as well, and then you had the Trident toss, so 3 different ways to deal with projectiles. And this move even had a meter burn option as well. It knocked the opponent full screen, so just more keep away, and I can just say no to your keep away if I want to. And then on top of that, the meter burn option is +6 on block, and you're right here. So once again, that guarantees this, it guarantees this, you can't press any buttons, you're going to get counter hits. So it's great for countering keep away, it's great for knocking the opponent full screen, and if they block it, you're +6 and left very close. And we're still not done because we have to talk about Aquaman's trait. So this move is honestly one of the best tools he has, and I thought about starting off the video with this because it's just that good. Which is kind of crazy because I remember it being even stronger in the first Injustice game, but even in the sequel, it's still a very strong power. So essentially what this move did was allow Aquaman to escape any combo whenever you punished him for anything. So if he just didn't have meter to spend on this Trident rush and keep himself safe, he would just pop this trait right away and you still couldn't punish him. Because at the most you would get 1 or maybe 2 hits and then he would slip out and just block the rest of whatever you did. So for example, here's a string from Swamp Thing. It's pretty good, knocks me away pretty fast too, a 1-1 string, right? Check this out. No, just nothing. I can escape. I can just slip out for free. Okay, well how about this string? Nope, once again I slip out and he can't even combo after that. And then for jump-ins, don't even get me started. You could escape any follow-up if you got hit by the jump-in. It was ridiculous. Get hit by a jump-in, activate trait, and you slip out of pretty much everything immediately. Or in other words, this move is just a combo breaker. Straight up, it's just a grounded combo breaker, and that's strong in this game because keep in mind in this game, you didn't have a combo breaker until you lost 1 life bar already, and even then it was only once per match. So Aquaman just said, no, I'm gonna activate this trait and I escape your combo pretty much unscathed. And don't get me wrong, the cooldown does take a pretty decent amount of time, but every time it's full, you know that you can't combo this guy. It's just not going to happen. Or at least not most of the time, because this move did have one weakness. If you launched Aquaman or knocked him off his feet, he was no longer allowed to slip out of combos. He had to be standing. So if you started off your combo with a jumping 3 or a forward 3 or even a back 3, then his trait wasn't that useful. But for pretty much any other situation, he could just pop trait and escape your combo. And I almost forgot the craziest thing about this trait. So not only could you escape combos, but you could actually punish the opponent for landing a combo on you. So for example, right now I'm playing Supergirl and she has this fantastic string right here. It's a very, very fun string, and these first 2 hits make it very easy to hit confirm. So if you're playing Supergirl, you go, okay, they landed, now I'm gonna launch and then end with my throw, and if I have meter, it's actually a combo starter. However, you forget you're fighting Aquaman and then this happens. That's right, I just punished Supergirl for touching me because that string's 3rd hit is not safe on block. So what this meant is you couldn't even trust your own hit confirms when you were fighting Aquaman, because if you overcommitted, he would punish you even though you hit him. So that's just one more reason this trait is so crazy and powerful. So on top of all the crazy stuff this character already had, like better range than most characters, crazy good hit advantage on certain things, 50/50s, decent damage, in fact really good damage when the game first came out, and really good keep away and counter keep away. But on top of all of that, Aquaman also had his own built-in combo breaker, which he could use multiple times during the match to escape a punish, a whiff punish, all that stuff. So after learning all of that, believe me when I tell you that pre-patch Aquaman was perhaps the strongest character that NetherRealm has ever made. He didn't have any weaknesses. And that's why Injustice 2 was starting to look a lot like Tekken 5 when everyone used Bob, because everybody was picking Aquaman because he was just so solid. Once again, the guy had pretty much no weaknesses. He was great up close, had good damage, great range, could escape combos, and he was great from a distance as well. Or in summary, the strongest character NetherRealm has created. But please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think that NetherRealm made a character that was more solid than Aquaman? Please let me know. And then if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.